Welcome to episode 5 of the Wonder Series. 100 years ago, they called Arkansas the Wonder State. It meant a place of plenty, rich land, rich water, enough resources to feed the world. They took the Wonder State and made it a state of waste. I've spent 4 weeks asking you to wonder something else. Why our kids can't see a doctor. Why we feed the world and starve our own children. Why our babies are born fighting. Why our children are dying. And here's what I've landed on after all of it. This is a place of plenty. We are not poor. We are not short on anything that matters. So I wonder why the people who've had all the power in this state, one political party, near total control for years, no one else to point at. I wonder why they're so willing to waste it. That's what this last episode is about. Not what we lack, what they waste. Here are 3 kinds of waste in this state. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. The first is food. Arkansas has the highest hunger of any state in the country. And right now, we let tons of food rot in a landfill instead of feeding a hungry Arkansas kid. The second is money. This money Sarah Huckabee Sanders bragged about, a $655 million surplus, she called it proof that conservative leadership works. Here's how they got it. They told every state agency to do more with less. They told teachers to accept the lowest pay ceiling in the nation and firefighters to work for free with 50-year-old equipment. Then they kicked kids off of their health insurance and made seniors who qualify for home care wait months, sometimes years, on a waiting list. The third, nobody talks about. The waste of power. You hand your vote and they just let it sit there. A vote that could have kept a mother alive, or a kid fed, or a hospital open. Wasted because they didn't care enough to work for the people paying their salary. 3 kinds of waste, one party in charge of all of it, and everyone costs us our children. Three kinds of waste, one party in charge of all of it, and every kind of waste costs us and our children something real. So here's what I do about it. Not someday, first session. Remember what I already told you. For every dollar we spend early on a kid, their health, their food, their start in life, we get $7 back in return. 7! That's not charity. It's the best return on investment this state could make, and we're leaving it on the table. We spend it on a kid now, or we spend it later on an ER appointment, a dropout, a jail cell, a prison cell. We pay either way. I'd rather pay for the win today. I stopped the food from hitting the dumpster. Currently, a grocery can throw away... I stopped the food from hitting the dumpster. Currently, a grocery store can throw away a truckload of food. Not because they want to, not because they... I stopped the food from hitting the dumpster. Currently, a grocery store can throw away a truckload of food. Not because they want to, but because the state made it too difficult to donate. So I make it easy. A real tax break for every pound of food they give to a food bank. That goes for the trucks and the cold storage to go and get it and store it and deliver it. More than half of our state is a food desert. A law on paper doesn't feed a kid in a county with no grocery store. Other states already do this. It just takes the state deciding to build the path. I make that investment. I make investment income pay the same rate your paycheck does. You pay tax on every dollar you make at work, right? Do you ever get a 50% tax break? And if after a really good paycheck, are you ever told, congratulations, you don't have to pay any taxes on your check at all? No, me either. But somebody living off of stocks and bonds gets half of their earnings tax-free. And if they make $10 million or more, they pay zero taxes on that money. Nothing at all. Does that piss you off? Because it pisses me off. And now they're pushing for those people not to pay taxes at all on any of their earnings. Not you or me, the already wealthy. The Republican platform says it in writing. Eliminate the state tax on capital gains completely. That loophole already costs Arkansas $143 million a year. Money that could go to a kid who needs a doctor or feed a hungry senior. I end the school vouchers as they stand. $309 million this year was what we were told, but the real number is closer to $379 million. 95% of it went to families already in private or homeschool before the check showed up. Out of 46,000 kids, barely 2,000 actually left a public school for that school's choice. That's not school's choice. That's $400 million in brand new spending while the public school drawdown. Out of 46,000 kids, barely 2,000 actually left a public school for it. That's not school choice. That's $379 million in brand new spending while the public school down the road doesn't see a dime. I finished the job on school meals. Arkansas already made breakfast free for every kid, and it worked. My bill adds lunch and an optional sack meal to take home. A sandwich, a piece of fruit, maybe a thing of milk. So no kid goes hungry after the last bell at practice or over that evening. We don't need a new tax. We don't need a new tax. We just need to decide feeding a kid matters more than a bigger number in an investment account. I get our mothers and babies health insurance. Arkansas is the only state left that cuts a new mom off Medicaid at 60 days. The only one. I take it to a full year for mom, and I keep the baby covered through 18 years. Believe it or not, we can insure every child in this state from head to toe for around $30 million a year. A bill to cover moms passed the House, but then died in the Senate subcommittee. The cost? About $2.4 million by the state's own math, and our state just deliberately refuses to provide health care to mothers and children. They just banked $655 million, and they decided new mothers and children aren't worth the investment. Pro-life? My dog's ass. I make rural care actually reach people. In most of this state, the closest provider for miles is a nurse practitioner. But our Republican supermajority created rules to make it nearly impossible for them to open a practice where they're needed most. I cut that red tape, and we create a mobile clinic capable of meeting the needs of our neighbors while I cut that red tape, and we create mobile clinics capable of meeting the needs of our neighbors while they are waiting for permanent facilities. That's how a family with no hospital and a kid in crisis get help without having to abandon the rural town and lifestyle they love. I cap childcare at $500 a month per child. We build it so a raise never costs you that help, allowing both parents to enter the workforce if they so choose. Food thrown out while kids go hungry. Money banked while kids suffer. They had all the power to change every bit of this. They just didn't. Same waste over and over. And I just showed you how every piece of it gets fixed. A lawmaker's job is simple. Write bills, vote on them. That's it. But before any bill gets a vote, a handful of lawmakers, a committee, decides if it even lives long enough to matter. And right now, one party holds 81 of 100 seats. They run every one of those rooms. So yeah, some of my bills are going to die there first. So yeah, some of my bills are going to die in their first year, probably more than I'd like. But I'm not going to pretend otherwise because I think you're tired of hearing people pretending. What I'm not going to do is let it die quiet. And that's exactly why I have a plan to fight that. Everything I do gets posted publicly on my campaign site. Every bill I file, every vote I cast, and how everyone else votes in real time. And I won't just post a vote and walk away. Every bill that hits that floor, I'll sit down and explain it to you. What it was, what it meant, how I voted and why. And how everybody else voted too. You deserve to know what's being done in your name with your tax dollars. Here's why that changes the math. The more of us who watch, the harder it gets for them to let the good bill die quietly in a room nobody's looking at. Accountability is how you turn 81 to 19 into people on both sides willing to sit down and work. Your attention is the pressure. That's how the votes start to move. So here's a straight question. Instead of another ad, my opponent held this seat for 12 years. So here's a oh, fuck you. So here's a straight question instead of another ad. My opponent held this seat 12 years. She walked away and now she wants it back. 12 years and Arkansas fell to 48th for its own kid. 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, however long somebody's had the job, if they haven't made our lives better by now, one more term won't either. Do you trust them with more time? I don't think that this is a mystery. It's a pattern, and a pattern doesn't fix itself just because you renew it. Power that sits there while people suffer isn't leadership. It's the worst waste of all, because unlike the food, unlike the money, this one was never an accident. Somebody held it the whole time and chose not to use it, and smiled for the picture while they did. I'm not asking you to trust me because of the things I say, the right things. I'm not asking you to trust me because I say the right things. I'm asking you to watch what I file, watch how they vote, and watch. I'm not asking you to trust me because I say the right things. I'm asking you to watch what I file, watch how I vote, and hold me to the same standard I'm holding them to right now. After 24 years in the Navy, I could have chosen to live anywhere. I chose this valley, and here's what I believe. The Arkansas Constitution says it in 8 words. All political power is inherent in the people. Not the governor, not a supermajority, and not whoever held the seat for the longest. The people, you, that power was never meant to sit still after Election Day. It was meant to keep working for you. Every session, every vote, somewhere along the way, they let it go to their heads. I can't see it. Somewhere along the way, they let it go to waste. Same as the food, same as the money in that bank. So there's the whole idea, plain as I can say it. Pick the power back up and use it for once the way it was meant to be used. They called Arkansas the Wonder State because it was a place of promise. They took the Wonder State and made it a state of waste. They think they control this state. They think that they can do whatever they want. They think they control this state. They think that they can do whatever they want with it. Our kids, our money, our future. I say we take it back. Look at what we have. Rich land, rich water, enough to feed the world and enough to feed our own. That's not something to waste. That's something to honor. That's something to respect. And look at your neighbor. Doesn't matter what country, what side of the ballot. And look at your neighbor. It doesn't matter what country, oh my God. And look at your neighbor. It doesn't matter what county, what side of the ballot. We're all Arkansans. Every one of us is worth feeding, worth healing, worth fighting for. On November 3rd, we get to choose a state of wonder or a state of waste. That's it. That's the whole election. I don't want Arkansas to be a place where people leave. I want it to be a place where people are jealous they don't live. A place folks are clamoring to get to, not escape from. Arkansans deserve better than what we've been getting. The Wonder State is still here. On November 3rd, we bring back the wonder. I'm Ryan Intchauspe, Chief Chops. I'm running for District 24 State Representative to restore the Wonder State. Driven by results, bound by honor.